Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be talking about periods, not the punctuation. Real female body periods. If you don't like talking about this or it's a subject that triggers you, please click off this video because I will be sharing an honest response. I am an open book. Now, if you're here to talk about periods, I'm so excited to have you because this is my most favorite topic of all time because I have struggled in the past so bad with my menstrual cycle, and now I am actually happy about it and I'm actually happy to get it. I just love sharing it. So if you are ready to talk about periods, stick with me because that's what we're doing. I'm going to start out by saying that I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. So if you are struggling with something that may be odd or not normal, please do not use this video as medical advice. I would suggest going to an actual doctor. The first thing we're going to be covering is menstrual cups. My absolute favorite invention of all time. Menstrual cups. Everybody is different. Everybody has a slightly different body. So if a different design or a different company works for you, that is great. I'm going to be sharing about the Lunette cup, which happens to work perfect for my body and a lot of other people that I know. This is not an ad, so I'm not sponsored by them in any way. It's an honest review of what I use. I haven't tried any other cup because I love Lunette so much. With that being said, menstrual cups are healthier for your body. They don't absorb all of the liquid inside of you. They actually just collect the liquid, which allows your system to be more lubricated and fluid like it is naturally. So it doesn't stop us, it doesn't cause any cramping. And in my experience with using the Lunette cup, it is very rare that I get cramps. So I do feel like my cramps in the past were due to tampons and it drying my system out. And the silicone is latex, chemical, and BPA free, unlike most commercial tampon brands. And the last reason it's healthier is because there's only been one case of toxic shock ever reported with the Lunette cup, and it is because a girl left it in for 3 days. I'm assuming nobody informed her that that is not okay, so this is me telling you, please do not leave your Lunette cup in for 3 days. Menstrual cups are also more affordable. They normally pay for themselves in 3 months. I only have been using the Lunette cup for over a year and I haven't had to go out and buy tampons or pads, and it's such this liberating feeling because I know I'm saving so much money. Lunette cups normally are $40. That to me is like so cheap for anything that has to do with feminine care. If you add up how much tampons and pads would actually cost you in a month, you would be so surprised. And of course, my number one reason for using a menstrual cup is because it makes the planet happier. You are not contributing to single-use plastics and single-use products. You are using one product for a really long time that you can burn to white ash when you're done. That to me is so cool. And the last reason I'm going to tell you to switch to a menstrual cup is because you have more control. You will never run out of tampons ever again because you won't need them. It lasts for 12 hours and you only have to change it 2 to 4 times per day. It can be worn overnight and you will be able to see the color of your blood naturally, not affected by the chemicals in tampons or by the cotton. But with the menstrual cup, you can see what your blood actually looks like. You can see the consistency, and then you know if you're supposed to go to the gynecologist or not because you know if your system is healthy or not. Now, you're probably wondering, how on earth do I use a menstrual cup? Well, I'm going to put a little picture right here that shows you guys the process of inserting it. They have this perfect little graphic that they made. You can access all of that online as well at lunette.cup, and you can see all about the Lunette cup, how to insert it, how come it's healthier, how come you have more control. A lot of the information I got is from lunette.com. And you can also purchase your Lunette cup there. They will tell you how to size it, whether you should be a 1 or 2. So that is a really good resource to use. The second thing we will be talking about today, that's technically 4. The second thing we will be talking about today is cloth pads. And I bought a brand new one. This one's never been used. Plus, I thought this one was really cute. My favorite thing about cloth pads are that you're not contributing to waste. I think we all can say that that is my #1 reason for doing most things, my health and then the health of the planet. I was super skeptical about using a cloth pad. I kind of thought it was gross. I heard people say like, you know, that they had to wash them and hand wash them and all this stuff, and I was like, grody to the max. Then I started using the Lunette cup. I got familiar with my body and comfortable with my body, and I realized that blood is not a gross thing. If it's your blood, it's your blood, okay? I actually prefer using a pad at night on the lighter days, and each pad has a top lining so you know which side's the top. Then they have an inside that is the same as a cloth diaper. When you put them in your underwear, you simply just clip the back, and depending on the size of your underwear, there are 2 buttons that you can choose the sizing. The cloth pad, there's not much to it. Of course, it's healthier than traditional pads because traditional pads have lots of chemicals in them. And if you like chemicals, then just switch to a cloth pad for the planet. The last thing I want to cover in this video is how I do not use painkillers. It has been something that I've talked about, but I've really never went in depth with, and I really want to share it with you guys. I stopped using painkillers in 12th grade when a friend of mine got stomach ulcers from it. I was taking anywhere from 1 to 4 Advil a day. And my friend got very, very sick, and so I cold cut Advil, any kind of painkillers, and in the last 3 years I've only taken 3 of them, and it was because of unbearable pain where I felt like I was going to go to the hospital. And that is what painkillers are for. They are for the times when our bodies can't naturally defend us from the pain. I use them with extreme caution, and I do not use them when I'm on my period because they promote more bleeding. I have a few methods that help me when I get cramps or when I'm feeling kind of groggy that I'll share. My favorite herbal remedy for my period is rosemary. I actually make a tea out of this rosemary before the start of every cycle just to promote blood flow to the uterus to get it ready. I've experimented with rosemary in my period, and if I'm like due for it any day and I drink rosemary tea, I will end up getting it the day after I drink it. And then I drink it once or twice throughout my period to just promote healthy blood flow. One of my all-time favorite essential oil blends is this Clary Calm by doTERRA. I don't know if they have it anymore. I'm not a rep. All of those are really high grade oils that are blended together to make the perfect blend for cramping, for moods, anything like that. I highly, highly suggest if you're kind of like hormonal to use that, and plus it smells so heavenly. My top recommendations for cramps would be rosemary tea, Clary Calm blend by doTERRA, going on a brisk walk, or sit-ups, crunches, that kind of thing. I'm gonna answer a few questions from the Instagram question box that I left. One of the questions was, how do I prevent leaking? Leaky cups are typically because you're not using the right cup for your body. I would suggest investing in another brand. So if you're currently using, let's say, the Diva cup, invest in a lunette cup. There's a lot of different shapes when it comes to menstrual cups too. I would suggest starting with like a base model like the lunette size 1, size 2, and then if that is really not working for you, then go with the more unusual styled cups. That will help like cause any leaking. Also, if you're leaking, it could be because the suction is not completely created, so you might need a bigger cup. You really need that slight suction. Something I always do is run my finger around the rim once it's all the way inserted to make sure that it's completely like popped up, because when you insert it, you're folding it, and I just like to make sure that it fully expands, because if it doesn't fully expand, it will leak too. Trust me, I've been there. Another question was, what do I do in public restrooms or when I'm not at home and I have to change the cup? If you can find a private bathroom that has a private sink, you can always just rinse it out in the water and reinsert it. If in the unlikely event that there's not a family restroom, then you can buy wipes to have in your purse. I've done it before. It's completely fine. Just pull it out, wipe the cup off, and then put it back in. I had a few people ask about UTI and yeast infections and how I cure them naturally, but I'm going to save that for next week's video when I talk about healing sickness naturally. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you've got some information out of it. I really love this topic, so if you reach out to me, I would be happy to answer any of the questions that I didn't get to. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful moon cycle, and I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next Monday.